So I just finished watching Jurassic World Dominion, and I have some opinions. But I didn't want to just make a quick review, even though that would probably get more views than this is going to. No, I want to do something a little bigger. So after thinking for a little while, I decided to do a video asking the question, were the Jurassic World movies a mistake? But you already knew that from the title, probably. So here we go. How's this video going to work exactly? Hopefully there's going to be time codes below for you to skip to the parts that interest you. If I can figure out how those work, I don't know. But I'm gonna do a quick review and recap for Jurassic World, then another quick recap and review for Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. Then after that, we're gonna do a short non-spoiler review of Jurassic World Dominion. Then more of a rant, which will be spoiler filled for Jurassic World Dominion. And then I'll end the video by answering the question, were the Jurassic World movies a mistake? So this is gonna be a long one, probably. So stick around, and if you guys do enjoy, you know, subscribe. It helps me out a lot and shows that you guys are liking what I'm doing. So, alright, let's get into it. Jurassic World, released on June 12th, 2015 and directed by Colin Trevorrow, was actually the second highest grossing film of the year, behind, you know. So while I don't actually love this movie, it's pretty universally accepted as a good movie and a good start to this trilogy. I don't hate it, it's not my favorite. It is the best of the Jurassic World movies though, and I have a fun time with it. So the basic plot of Jurassic World is 20 odd years after the events of the first three Jurassic movies, Isla Nublar, an island off the coast of Costa Rica and the location of the original Jurassic Park, has been renovated into the luxury resort Jurassic World, which provides a habitat for an array of genetically engineered dinosaurs, including the new vicious and intelligent hybrid, the Indominus Rex. When the massive creature escapes its enclosure, it sets off a chain reaction that causes the other dinosaurs and guests to panic. Now it's up to former military man and animal expert Chris Pratt and businesswoman / driver of a Mercedes-Benz, director of The Mandalorian herself, Bryce Dallas Howard, to use their special skills to save two young brothers and the rest of the tourists from an all-out prehistoric assault. So I had a fun time watching this movie. Like I said, it's just fun. It's also pretty good. You know, they don't try too hard. Like, it's a simple story. Like, they don't try to go too complex with it like some of the sequels do, right? And the Indominus Rex is a great antagonist for a Jurassic movie. It's one of the best. Obviously, it's hard to beat the T-Rex, and I also really do enjoy the Spinosaurus as an antagonist. But the Indominus Rex it's good. It's a great antagonist, and it's an original concept. So honestly, I'd say 7, maybe 8 out of 10, honestly. Good movie with a decent setup for what could have been even better sequels, but weren't. Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom might be the most hated Jurassic World movie, maybe even most hated Jurassic movie out of all of them, which is crazy because Dominion exists and so does Lost World. I know people like Lost World, it's just not for me. Released on June 22nd of 2018 and directed by J.A. Bayona, which, by the way, this is actually one of, if not the most beautifully shot Jurassic movie, you know? But this is easily the most controversial Jurassic movie. Following the success of Jurassic World, this movie kind of fails to fill those shoes in a weird way. This movie kind of has two different plots, one of which is actually okay and a lot of fun, and the other is just confusing and weird. 3 years after the destruction of the Jurassic World theme park, Owen Grady and Claire Dearing return to the island of Isla Nublar to save the remaining dinosaurs from a volcano that's about to erupt. Sidebar: this volcano just kind of came out of nowhere. It was just never mentioned, ever. Not in any of the movies. Like, they could have foreshadowed it a little bit. Like, come on, was there not a plan for this trilogy? There was not a plan for this trilogy. Trust me, there was no planning involved whatsoever. But actually, they kind of did. About 2 summers ago, I picked up and read Jurassic Park by Michael Crichton for the first time. The book mentions that Isla Nublar is actually built on a seamount that's created by volcanic activity, but honestly, I think that might just be a coincidence, because they didn't, right? Like, they didn't read the book. There's no way they read the book. Also in the book, Henry Wu, you know, the scientist guy, gets torn apart by velociraptors, and John Hammond gets eaten by little T-Rex piranhas, so... So if you read the book, you knew what was going to happen like 20 years earlier. That's a win. That is a win. Back to the plot. They soon encounter terrifying new breeds of gigantic dinosaurs while uncovering a conspiracy that threatens the entire planet. That's the decent part of this movie. You know, that's forgetting the child clone, the murderous billionaire, and then John Hammond's never-mentioned business partner. Also, the hybrid of the hybrid from the last movie, which just turns out to be a horror monster. I do like the Indoraptor though. Like, unironically, it is a very cool monster. It's a cool dinosaur. Then there's a fucking dinosaur auction. Like, don't forget that part. Don't forget the dinosaur auction at the end of the movie, because that just had to exist. Anyway, this movie is, like I said, controversial and just kind of weird. I like parts of it and just really don't like other parts of it. I don't think it's as bad as most people say it is. Like, it's just a fun action movie at best, and then a weird dinosaur drama at worst. You know, which is more than you can say for Dominion. 6 out of 10. 6 out of 10. I think that's a fair score. All right, here we go. Released on June 10th, 2022, and with Colin Trevorrow returning to the director's seat, Jurassic World Dominion promises to be the epic finale, the Avengers Endgame for the Jurassic Park series. It's not. It's not. 4 years after the destruction of Isla Nublar, dinosaurs now live and hunt alongside humans all over the world. This fragile balance will reshape the future and determine once and for all whether human beings are to remain the apex predators on a planet they now share with history's most fearsome creatures. We're gonna start off with a short non-spoiler talk for those who haven't seen the movie. Then I'll get into spoilers afterwards, but boy is this movie bad. Like, this movie is just not good. Starting off with the good though, Alan Grant. Sam Neill is the best. I love him. He's the best part of all of these movies that he's in. He shines, alright? And that does not change in this movie. He is the best part of this movie. There's also some really nice action in this movie. There's some spooky dinosaurs that I cannot pronounce the name of, like the one with like Wolverine claws, you know.
Therizinosaurus.
But one thing I will complain about before going to the spoilers, the director, that's what I'm gonna call him now, the director, Colin Trevorrow has said that the big bad antagonist, which is, you know, barely in this movie, you know, the
Giganotosaurus.
He compared it to the Joker from The Dark Knight. What? So what he means is that, and I quote, "I wanted something that felt like the Joker," Trevorrow said in an exclusive with Empire. "It just wants to watch the world burn." So sadly, I'm gonna be the one to break the news to you. This dinosaur doesn't care, let alone want to watch the world burn. Which was just super disappointing because I wanted that. That like super got me interested in this movie, was like the idea of a just genuinely evil dinosaur. That would have been so cool. We got more of that with the Indoraptor. The Indoraptor was evil. This thing is just a dinosaur. Like, that would have been so cool. Like, the Spinosaurus from Jurassic Park 3 felt more evil. And that thing was barely in its own movie. Also, side tangent, they should have had a Spinosaurus in this movie or something similar. Like, just have one Spinosaurus in the Jurassic World series. Like, it is just such a cool dinosaur in Jurassic Park 3, and they just forgot about it for the entirety of this trilogy. Honestly, before going into spoilers, I'd give this movie like 4, maybe 5 out of 10 on a good day. Alright, so from this point on, spoilers. If you have not seen the movie yet, either skip to the next time code where I'll answer the question in the title, or just pause, go watch the movie, safely, of course, alright? And then come back and enjoy this spoiler review. Oh boy. Alright, so this movie, even in its plot synopsis, which I read to you just a little earlier, claims that this movie will explore the idea of humans and dinosaurs coexisting. Now I'm gonna be frank with you. That's not this movie. Like, that doesn't happen in this movie at all. It just kind of skips all of it. Like it just skips to 4 years later where all the dinosaurs are back in one place and on an island. Again. Like, the whole first 2 movies were about getting the dinosaurs off of the island for this big finale. And what do? Within 10 minutes, they are back on an island. Now, you might say that that was me getting my expectations up, or, you know, whatever. No, that was like the whole advertising campaign. Humans and dinosaurs coexisting, being together. All of the commercials were that. Like, that was what the commercials were. Even the promotional stuff, like the short film, Battle at Big Rock, and the prologue that they released before the movie, which, honestly, were both better than the movie. Like, Battle at Big Rock is about these campers that, while on their trip, encounter these wild dinosaurs, and it is just really good. Like, really, really good. I loved that thing. I still love that thing. Like, it is such a good short film. They could have just released that, and it would have been so much better than what we got. And then there's the prologue, which played before Fast and Furious 9, I think. They just should have had that in the movie. It would have made the movie like 100 times better than the weird recap opening thing we got. Like, it was just some reporter lady talking about Fallen Kingdom. Like, We watched the movie. Nobody that's watching Dominion didn't watch Fallen Kingdom. I don't see the point in that. So yeah, they just didn't do it. They didn't do the dinosaurs and humans coexisting thing, which if you can't tell, that's what I really wanted. And I think most people stand with me that like that's what we wanted. You know, there were some good action sequences in this movie, but it did feel a little light on the dinosaurs. It's like they forgot this was a Jurassic Park movie and thought it was like a Mission Impossible action sequence or something. Like, there were supposed to be dinosaurs. This is a dinosaur movie. And we didn't even get a moment in this movie where they even tried to recapture the joy of Jurassic Park. Like, every Jurassic movie has a scene of these dinosaurs just existing, and it's great every time. It gets to me every time. This movie doesn't have that, and it's just so weird. Like I said, there are some really well shot action sequences. There's one with Chris Pratt on a motorcycle being chased by dinosaurs, which happens in all these movies, but it's especially good in this one. And like, honestly, Chris Pratt did not seem like he wanted to be in this movie. He was there for the paycheck, and that was about it. But like, he was fast and furiousing through this town, and then there were just some dinosaurs chasing him. And it was cool. Like, it looked cool. And that's all I have to say on that. Like, it just looked cool. There was no substance. It just looked cool. And I will give the movie that. This is like some of the best like dinosaur CGI we've ever had. Probably because they did use some practical animatronics, I think, which is just amazing. It's always great when they do that. I love it. But I'm going to jump ahead a little bit to the ending. Boy, oh boy. The whole movie just kind of felt like, oh, dinosaurs and people don't work. And then at the end of the movie, they like skip to a week later and dinosaurs and people work for some reason. Like, the dinosaurs just randomly fit perfectly into our ecosystem, which just didn't feel like the direction they were going, but that's where it ended. Another weird thing with this movie is it kind of just feels like The Rise of Skywalker and how it was constantly contradicting and trying to correct The Last Jedi. This movie feels like it's doing the same thing to Fallen Kingdom, which is actually really interesting because Colin Trevorrow was supposed to direct The Rise of Skywalker, you know, back when it was called The Duel of Fates. Like, Snoke means nothing. Wait, no, actually he's Palpatine. Maisie, that's her name, right? Made by her grandfather out of sadness. Nope, actually she is a weird self-made child. Like, not self-made by her, self-made by her mother. And not made by her grandfather out of just, you know, sadness and missing his daughter. No, it was her mother who made her so that she can live a long life. But here's the thing. Her mom didn't, like, have a short life. She died in a car accident. She wasn't sick. She died in a car accident. Colin Trevorrow legitimately just didn't watch Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. And it shows, honestly. Also, I don't think anyone liked this. The locust stuff. It is such a weird plot point, and they focus so much time. Like, this movie, there's more locusts than dinosaurs. In Jurassic World. Why? They could have done anything else. Like, why locusts? Why? And then also the main villain of this movie, like the CEO of Apple. And he's supposed to be like the guy from Jurassic Park 1, I think. And I get the dinosaur thing. But he's a cartoon villain. Like, he's just a cartoon villain. He wants to control the world's food supply to become a billionaire. Hello? Like, what? It is just so weird and unnecessary. There's also, like, the callback with, like, the shaving cream can, which is cool. Like, that's a cool thing. How did he get it? Like, how? Did he go to Isla Nublar and find it? And, like, is that how he made his dinosaurs? That is cool. That is a cool story, but no, they don't do that. It's just like a weird cameo thing. Did like they think people were gonna cheer Spider-Man No Way Home style for a shaving cream can? It didn't happen. It didn't happen. The Henry Wu redemption stuff is also boring. Like, it was just kind of boring and weird, but it was all right, I guess. And that's kind of like where most of this movie is for me. It's like boring with some cool stuff and then just okay the rest of it. It's just really mid, honestly. I also forgot to mention Ian Malcolm and Ellie Sattler, which they're great, obviously. They're always amazing. Like, Jeff Goldblum is one of the best parts of this movie, and Ellie's great, like always. It's just great to see her on screen again, especially with Alan Grant. Like, I don't like her plotline at all, as I've mentioned. I do not like it. And just one more thing before I answer the question in the title. And I know I'm forgetting things, but that's fine. This isn't like a full-on review. Blue the Velociraptor, arguably a main character for this trilogy, is just a non-entity in this movie. Like, what happened? Did they forget? Did they, like, forget to put Blue in the script? Like, Blue is a decent part of Jurassic World, and an even bigger part of Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. But, like, nah, she's just forgotten in this movie. I think they're pretending that she had a character arc with the ending of this movie, but like she didn't. Like she could have, I guess, but she didn't. It's just super disappointing, honestly. So finally the time comes where we answer the question, were the Jurassic World movies a mistake? Kind of. Not really, I'd say. Less of a mistake and more of a just bad idea or good idea executed poorly. I'd say the Jurassic Park movies were a bit of a one-hit wonder, with the other two movies just kind of leeching off of the first one. And I'd say these movies do the same thing, but even worse. And the only reason why I say they do it worse is because the Jurassic Park sequels, Lost World and then Jurassic Park 3, they're obviously sequels, but they kind of feel more like spin-offs. Like, yes, they take place after Jurassic Park, but they don't build off of each other like a trilogy should. Like, they're just kind of like, oh yeah, story with this character that was in Jurassic Park, and then a story with this character that was in Jurassic Park. You know what I mean? It's like more spin-off than sequel. Anyway, that's just how I convince myself that the Jurassic Park trilogy is good. Like, they're spin-offs, not sequels. I promise. The Jurassic World trilogy, they're not spin-offs. It's a trilogy, just not a very good one. And like, the worst part is, even if you don't like Fallen Kingdom, which I do not love Fallen Kingdom at all, it builds off of the first movie, maybe in a weird way, but it still does it in a way that this movie is just way too scared to do. Like, Jurassic World Dominion is terrified to even build off of Fallen Kingdom. Like, they're scared to mention stuff that happened in Fallen Kingdom. Like, really. And that just makes the movies, like, worse, honestly. Especially this one. It really brings them down. And this movie being bad brings Jurassic World and the Jurassic Park movies down a little bit for me, which will permanently stay in the Jurassic series. Like, when they inevitably reboot this whole thing in 20 years, people are gonna remember Jurassic World Dominion as, like, the failed ending. Like, they messed up the ending twice. They had a chance with Jurassic Park 3 to end the series, and they just didn't. And then they had a chance to end the series here, and they just didn't. Like, this one's more of an ending, but it's not a good ending. It's just a weird ending. Like, why? So honestly, I'd say just leave it. Let the Jurassic series rest. You've made all the money you should ever get from it. I'm not interested in a sequel, and I don't feel like many people are now. Like, I don't think I'll watch it. I'll wait for the sequel, if they do make one, to just come to HBO Max, and I'll watch it then. Like, I didn't even watch the animated series, which in the end didn't even matter. Like, it didn't apply to this movie at all. Like, it's just really disappointing seeing such a big series, like such a well-known thing, go out with such a bad movie. Like, and now, I'm not saying make another one. This, in my opinion, was your last chance, and you blew it. I don't know. There was potential here for a really good story that Colin Trevorrow just clearly did not want to tell. Like, I'm glad Jurassic World exists, and I can watch Fallen Kingdom and have a good time. But man, this movie hurts. Like, and I know people are going to disagree with me, and that's completely fine. That's just how this stuff works. But I'd say, yeah, they're a bit of a mistake. So this video is pretty different from normal. Like I said at the beginning, I just didn't want to do a like 5-minute boring review. So if you guys did watch all the way through, thank you. It really does mean a lot to me. And if you are, enjoying what I'm doing, please consider subscribing. It helps me out a lot and tells me that you are, you like what I'm doing. Tell me in the comments below what I should review next. I'm thinking next video might be a rewatch since you guys really liked the last one. So maybe leave suggestions for what I should rewatch in the comments too. Should I review some of the earlier Jurassic Park movies? I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, like, I don't know. Tell me in the comments, what you guys think. Anyway, that's about it. I don't really have much else to say. Jurassic World Dominion, big disappointment. Yeah, that's about it. Bye.